The film opens with a horrific incident that occurred 35 years ago in the town of Vernon. In October 1987, a girl named Tiffany was brutally murdered in her garage on the night of her 16th birthday party. Just 2 days later, another girl named Marissa was found dead in her family's cabin. Then on Halloween night, the third victim, Heather, was brutally murdered in the parking lot of an amusement park. All 3 victims were only 16 years old and were stabbed 16 times by a masked killer. From then on, the killer was called the 16-year-old killer. However, after those 3 cases, he never killed anyone else and his true identity remains a mystery to this day. His mask became a famous symbol in every Halloween. People use it to dress up. Back in the present, we are introduced to a man named Chris DeBassage, who runs a podcast dedicated to the case. Every Halloween, he takes tourists on tours of the murder scene. It seems that Chris has nothing else to do besides his life tied to the crime scene. Although Chris's father is a famous reporter in town, Mr. Norm. In the next scene, a young girl named Jamie is preparing to go to a Halloween concert. Just a few minutes later, her mother Pam shows up and forbids her from going out. It turns out that Pam was a close friend of the 3 victims in 1987. And Jamie is now 16. After more than 35 years, the fear of the killer still haunts her. However, Jamie is determined to attend the concert, trying to prove that she can defend herself because she was taught martial arts at the age of 7. Self-defense equipment such as pepper spray and alarm devices are available. Jamie's father, Blake, witnessed the mother and daughter arguing and offered to take Jamie away and wait there until the concert ended. Just then, he saw someone texting his wife. Pam quickly explained that it was just a group chat for mothers and quickly put the phone down. Blake then took Jamie to her best friend Amelia's house. Amelia's mother, Lauren, also appeared and we learned that she was a former classmate of Pam and Blake. Lauren complained that her boss didn't give her a day off even on Halloween. Blake then continued to take the girls to the concert. Meanwhile, Pam was home alone and handed out candy to the kids like she had done on many Halloweens before. Suddenly, a masked man appeared at the door. She thought it was just a costumed person, so she gave him candy. But when she saw the knife in his hand, Pam immediately slammed the door. She quickly called the police. Then the man broke in and attacked her. Surprisingly, Pam also fought back fiercely because she had prepared for this day since she was 16 years old. A moment later, she pulled out a knife, threatening that the police were about to arrive, causing him to hesitate and leave. But right when Pam breathed a sigh of relief, he suddenly appeared from behind and made a fatal attack. He continued to stab Pam 16 times until she collapsed. Jamie was shocked and devastated by her mother's death. Outside the house, Chris had the opportunity to livestream about it even though Pam was also his classmate. The next day at school, Principal Doug expressed his grief over Jamie's great loss and asked PE teacher Randy to teach him basic self-defense moves. Afterwards, Sheriff Kara found Jamie and asked where her father was when the crime happened. They suspected Blake was involved because Pam and Chris often texted, possibly because they had a shady relationship. Jamie immediately denied it, insisting that her father would never do such a thing, and reminded the police that they had failed to catch the killer in the past 35 years. After school, Jamie went to the science fair held at the old amusement park, where Amelia was busy with her homemade time travel machine. Amelia said that her mother, Lauren, had researched a time travel project but for some reason it was never completed. Now, with Lauren's old notes, she is determined to create a real machine. Amelia wants to experiment to go back in time to stop the murderer and Jamie remembers that if she can do it, her mother will not have to die. Amelia sets the time to October 27, 1987, the time when the first murder occurred. According to Amelia, the current problem with the machine may be due to the Wi-Fi to synchronize with the phone's GPS. That way, it can return to the right place after traveling in time. That night, Jamie listens to Chris's podcast but her father immediately reminds her to stop listening because he is like a vulture who always makes tragic cases into entertainment, especially the murder series 35 years ago. So Jamie stops listening and meets Chris at a coffee shop. The girl goes straight to the point of whether he and his mother are having an affair. Chris denies it, explaining that Pam is so obsessed with solving the case 35 years ago that they text each other often. The two work together to find the killer. He also reveals that 35 years ago, after the last murder, Pam received a threatening letter from the killer, warning that she would be the next victim. That afternoon, Jamie returns to the science fair to see Amelia in a bad mood. At that moment, the killer suddenly appears and attacks. Jamie quickly runs away and hides in the photo booth. It is Amelia's time machine. Accidentally activating it, the killer chases her, stabs her but misses and it goes straight into the control panel, creating a powerful electric shock. Immediately, the machine is activated. Luckily, before the killer can do anything, Jamie pushes him out and is swept away. Returning to 1987, the exact day of the first murder. At first, Jamie panics when she realizes that she has actually gone back 35 years. But once Jamie realized that she could save her mother, she immediately decided to stop the murders. When she learned that her mother Pam was at school, Jamie decided to go there without hesitation. And luckily, the woman gave her a ride, even though the car was full of smoke. Inside the school, Jamie introduced herself as an international student from Canada. She thought it would be difficult to confirm the information because the receptionist didn't ask any more questions. Gave her the schedule and urged her to hurry up because she was late for gym class. Jamie was surprised to see 3 girls who were victims in the past: Tiffany, Marissa and Heather. While observing, she tried to find the teenage version of her mother. And surprisingly, the gentle mother at the beginning of the film was completely different from what she imagined. True to her era, she acts arrogant, tries to act superior, and tries to bully the weak. Jamie also learns that Tiffany will be having a birthday party tonight, which is the fateful place where she dies. The town's series of massacres begins. Jamie tries to convince her friends to cancel the party, claiming it's boring, but no one listens. Helpless, Jamie goes to the police station, warning that there will be a murder at Tiffany's house. But instead of taking it seriously, they laugh, claiming that this town has never had a murder. And the police chief at this time is the biological father of the female police chief Kara 35 years later, Mr. Dennis. With no other choice, Jamie continues to ask around at school and finds Amelia's mother, Lauren. When she enters the classroom, Jamie easily finds her. Although Lauren is still skeptical about the strange girl, Jamie tells Lauren about the time machine that her daughter will build in the future, and explains the whole incident. She also reveals details about the upcoming murders. Surprisingly, Lauren believes her because no one else knows about the notebook and the plan to build a time machine. Jamie adds that she wants to stop the murderer from killing people, including her mother, and the only way to get back to the future is with Wi-Fi. But Wi-Fi didn't exist in 1987, so Jamie needs Lauren's help to find an alternative. The two go to the amusement park to see the time machine. On the way, Lauren says that if Jamie's story is true, he's targeting the Mollys, which are Pam, Tiffany, Marissa, and Heather. And inside the machine, Lauren explains that it suddenly works because of the addition of conductive metal. Jamie also wonders why Lauren took it so easily. She explains that if they were planning to make a time machine, they had to think about the scenario of someone from the future going back to the past to ask for help. And they also talk about the flow of time when the past changes. Of course, the future will also change. The scene cuts to 2023 when Mr. Blake is frantically searching for his daughter and calls the police. Amelia appears and reveals that Jamie used the time machine to go back to the past. Of course, no one believes her except Chris, who is very interested in what he just heard. Meanwhile, in 1987, Lauren and Jamie attend Tiffany's birthday party to stop the murder. At the party, Jamie meets a guy named Doug, who is often bullied and will later become her principal. Here, Jamie also has her eyes on a handsome guy with 6 packs. But then she is shocked to realize that it is her father Blake. She also discovers that Tiffany and Blake are dating at this time, not her mother Pam. Jamie tries her best to protect the 3 girls, but they don't care, only know how to mock her, and is thrown out by Randy. A while later, Tit, Fanny and Blake get angry because he finds out his girlfriend is kissing a guy named Eddie. Eddie will later become the lead singer in the squirrel band that Jamie attends. Tiffany cries and confides in Jamie, but a while later she takes Eddie upstairs with her. Tiffany goes to the bathroom. When she comes back, he is gone. She heard a noise coming from the closet, thinking Eddie was hiding there and waiting. But suddenly, the killer stepped out of the darkness, walked straight towards Tiffany before brutally stabbing her. At the same time, Jamie was disturbed by Randy again, but this time the girl fought back, surprising everyone. She then went to find Tiffany. Based on the murder plot, she would be murdered in the garage, so she went there to find her. Perhaps because Jamie's appearance had disturbed everything. In the loud music of the party, Jamie frantically searched for Tiffany to save her, but it was too late. Tiffany's body was discovered in her parents' bedroom on a waterbed. Jamie and Lauren then took Pam home because they didn't want her to be alone when there was a killer lurking outside. When Pam asked how Jamie knew about the murder, Lauren signaled Jamie not to reveal it, so she lied that she had psychic abilities, thanks to which she was able to predict who would be the victim. The 3 of them decided to stay overnight, and Jamie took the opportunity to ask Pam if she knew anyone who hated her so much that they wanted to kill her. Pam confessed that many people could be the culprit because she and her group of friends had bullied many people in the past. Jamie also revealed that Pam and Blake would get married in the future, which made her very happy. But Jamie emphasized that the two of them should not date until they finished college, because falling in love too soon would easily lead to a breakup. In 2023, Amelia was still working hard on the time machine, determined to find a way to bring Jamie back. Suddenly, Chris appeared, showing interest in trying to see the machine. During the conversation, Chris suddenly realized that his memory had been wrong. Tiffany's murder actually took place in the bedroom, not in the garage as he thought. That meant that Jamie's actions in the past were changing the timeline. Chris also attended the party that day and kept taking pictures because he wanted to become a famous reporter like his father. He and Amelia looked through the photos and saw Jamie's appearance in 1987. They also found a note from Jamie but had no idea what it meant. Back in 1987, Jamie meets Pam's group in the lobby and they mention a girl named Trish, who died last year in a car accident. The police investigation confirms that Trish's alcohol level was very high at that time. Jamie tries to stop the group from going to the cabin where the next murder will take place. She convinces Marissa that they should go to the city. Hearing this, Marissa suggests going to her parents' apartment and Jamie agrees. Jamie also finds a way for everyone to write on a piece of paper to compare the handwriting on the threatening note that Mr. Chris gave them. Jamie's teacher assigns her to do a group project with Lurch, a strange student who is often bullied, and she notices the strange drawings in his notebook. Marissa and her group then pick Jamie up and take them to her parents' apartment. When mentioning Lurch, Jamie learns that he is Chris's brother who took a year off school because of his sister's grief and is now studying with them. Because she was too tired, Jamie fell asleep. When she woke up, she was shocked to realize that there was no apartment but a creepy wooden house in the woods. The scene where Marissa would be murdered. Jamie desperately advised them to leave, but the boys also came and they all decided to have a party right away. Worried, Jamie gave a series of safety rules in the house but no one listened. Only when everyone went to the pool did Jamie understand why they suddenly lost control. Because Kara mixed addictive substances into the cake. However, Jamie was fine even though she ate the most in the group. The reason was because the quality of addictive substances in the past was far inferior to the future. Not enough for her, Jamie urged everyone to go inside the house for safety, lying that she had prepared pizza. Because Jamie was too annoying, Randy locked her out. Because of the drug's effects, the group couldn't find the pizza, thinking that Jamie had hidden it, so they split up to look for it. Meanwhile, Pam pulled Blake back to the kitchen to make the cake together. Jamie's resourceful mother in the past was extremely clumsy because she kept looking at Blake and cut her hand. While taking care of the wound, the two rushed to each other and dragged each other upstairs. At the same time, Marissa also returned to her room to make a cocktail to continue drinking. Heather collapsed and had to ask Randy to go into the room to close the window. He then went to Marissa's side to have fun. Jamie was desperate to find a way into the house. When she climbed up to Heather's window and looked inside, she saw the masked murderer coming out of the wardrobe. He turned up the music to cover up the victim's cries for help. As for Pam, because she had lost a lot of blood from the wound, she gradually regained consciousness and remembered Jamie's previous warning. She quickly urged Blake to put the cabinet to block the door to prevent the murderer from entering. Jamie also appeared right at Pam's window and was finally able to enter the house. Heather woke up in time and dodged the murderer's stab. She screamed for everyone to run out and was knocked down the stairs by him. Jamie tried to open the door and run out, but the killer was standing in front of her, so she couldn't do anything. He slowly walked down the stairs and brutally killed Heather. The group of friends had come down and joined forces to fight, but Blake was stabbed in the shoulder. Jamie and Pam could only make the killer's nose bleed, but it was not enough to stop him from running away. The order of death was reversed instead of Marissa. This time Heather became the next victim. After the killer left the house, the rest of the people immediately went to the police station to report the case. Jamie even tried to help them by giving the killer's blood sample for DNA testing. But the police here did not know what DNA was. Once again mocking Jamie, Blake suspected Kara because she was nowhere to be seen at the time of the attack. The next day at school, Jamie met Lauren again to ask about the time machine. Everything was still progressing but not finished. Lauren discovered that when Mr. Norm used the library satellite to broadcast, Jamie's phone had a Wi-Fi signal. This is the key to solving the time machine problem. But the bad news is that the phone is running out of battery. Lauren calculates that it will only take about 7.5 hours. And that is when Heather was killed in the original timeline. Jamie notices a strange guy named Lurch waiting for an opportunity. She sneaks into the back of Lurch's car to investigate, but realizes that he is just a normal, nerdy student who has nothing to do with the murder. They are then caught by Doug for being out during class. Lurch tells everyone to go inside for safety because the murderer has not been caught yet. Doug reassures them that it will be safe with him because he has been studying karate for 8 years. After class, Jamie meets Lauren again at the amusement park. Her machine is not working because it is not enough power. Jamie looks around and finds the solution in the adventure ride. The two go there pretending to say that the ride is broken and needs to be shut down. Surprisingly, the employee was happy to hear that and left immediately. Jamie went outside to meet the group again. They decided to plan a trap for the killer. Marissa would be the bait, because Jamie knew for sure that she was the last victim in 1987. But this time the group would be well prepared, ready to catch him as soon as he appeared. In the present, Chris was also helping Amelia repair her machine. Marissa walked around the amusement park alone while the killer silently followed. She entered a haunted house where the group was tensely waiting for him to appear. Sure enough, not long after, the killer entered, leading to a confrontation between him and Jamie and the others. The group crowded into a room, trying to fight back but were completely defeated by his brutality. Jamie finally managed to land a stab, but just as the killer was about to stab Jamie back, Kara appeared and killed him. The group removed his mask and were shocked to see that it was their classmate Doug. The truth gradually emerges about a female student named Trish who died tragically in a car accident a year ago. The horrifying thing is that the group of bullies, including Tiffany, Marissa and Heather, are responsible. They nicknamed Trish Fat Trish because of her figure. One night, the three girls invited Trish to Tiffany's house to sleep over, and intentionally got her drunk to force her to reveal her rumored love affair with the female gym teacher at the beginning of the film. Although Trish cried and begged, they still forced her to drink more. In the end, Trish left drunk and died in an accident. What the three bullies did not know was that Trish had feelings for Doug. Losing the girl he loved, Doug collapsed completely. In his hatred, he put on a mask, became a murderer, and gradually took revenge on those who caused Trish's death. Hearing this, Jamie began to hate his mother for behaving so thoughtlessly, but Pam quickly explained that she was not at the party that day, because she had argued with Tiffany before. She affirmed that she would never do such a terrible thing, and Marissa also confirmed that Pam was completely unrelated. Jamie was now confused. If Doug was the murderer, why did he leave a letter threatening Pam and then kill her in 2023 when she had nothing to do with it? But before they could find the answer, another shock came. From behind Marissa, a second killer appeared, coldly stabbing Marissa to death in front of everyone. Jamie speculated that it could be Doug in the future because the mask he was wearing had been destroyed by Jamie, so it was easy to recognize. It was true that someone had used Amelia's time machine to go back to the past. The second murderer continued to chase Jamie. On the way, he also killed Chris's father while he was broadcasting live on television. Finally, Jamie ran to the machine, which was now ready to operate. Lauren explains that Jamie must not leave the engine room once the trip begins. Otherwise, she will be thrown against the wall and blown up. While they are still talking, the killer attacks. Jamie urges Lauren to leave immediately, and she is forced to comply. Suddenly Pam appeared and rushed to help her daughter, and the fierce battle between them and the killer officially broke out. The machine started spinning at a dizzying speed, forcing Jamie, Pam and the killer to stick to the wall, but he was still able to move step by step towards Pam. Preparing to deliver a fatal blow, he stabbed Pam once, forcing Jamie to push her mother out of the machine to save her. Pam also pulled off the killer's mask in time. The face of the second killer was revealed. It was Chris from 2023. Chris confessed that he had absolutely no idea that Doug was the original killer. He killed Pam just to keep the legendary 16-year-old killer alive after 35 years. He also made up a fake threatening letter to Jamie, all because he wanted to create more content for the podcast to make himself more famous. Because Chris was tired of being compared to his father, who was much more successful and prominent all his life. That's why he killed his father. Chris immediately rushed to attack. The two sides struggled again, and luckily Jamie remembered Lauren's nail gun. She shot straight at the killer. Chris was pushed out and exploded immediately. Then Jamie was brought back to the present. She returned to the day before Halloween 2023. Jamie rushed home, relieved to see that her mother was still alive. Lauren and Amelia also arrived. Mrs. Lauren pulled Jamie out to talk privately. She still had the same memory of everything that happened in the past and told Jamie that this timeline was a bit different. So Lauren wrote down all the changes in a notebook. Suddenly, a man walked into the house to greet Jamie. Lauren explained that in this new timeline, Jamie's parents got together earlier, so now she has a 34-year-old brother named Jamie, a husband named Jason, and a 3-year-old daughter named Veronica. Jamie's name is Colette. Not only that, Lauren is now a bioengineer and Amelia is still her best friend. The more shocking news is that Randy became the principal because Doug died. Kara is still the sheriff. Lurch created a gaming empire, founded an anti-bullying organization in honor of his sister Trish. Eddie is still a rock singer, but the band name is A Waterbed Away, because at that time Eddie did not want to stay and make love with Tiffany on the waterbed, and thanks to that he was not killed. And Chris, after his father died, He was traumatized and lived in seclusion in a monastery in India, not knowing that the real murderer was himself from another timeline. The movie ends here. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.